Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. How do you like to sabotage yourself? It may not be in the big, grandiose ways that you think. Let me give you an example. One of the clients that I'm working with right now has some really impactful goals that she wants to set as far as getting the word out there about how others can live a fulfilled life. And so I work with her in a brilliance system where we learn to showcase the very best parts of her. So I'm taking her through that system. And the first steps are, let's create that vision. And the questions that I give my clients are very simple because there is something known as successive yes sets. And that simply means that to get someone to say yes to something that is complex, you need to get them to say yes to something simple to start. I mean, we don't go into schools teaching kindergartners about algebra. No, we start off with, hey, these are the numbers, and then this is how you add them and subtract them. It is the same way with your vision. You have to start off with simple questions on creating it. Well, it wasn't very long, a few days before she emailed me and she's like, oh, this task is so overwhelming. I am going down this rabbit hole and I'm chasing this butterfly. And what about this? And what about that? And that's when I knew it was not the adult, mature part of her that was answering these questions. It was the part that held her wound. See, we have three primary aspects to our personality. We have who we are today. That's what I call living in our gifts. That's why they call it the present. So who you are right now, unwrapping the best parts of you, even the painful parts when we give them a purpose for progress. So you have that. But then you have the younger you that holds your first story. And what I mean by a first story is that there was something that you decided to go after. Maybe you were a kid, a teenager, or a young adult, but you were going to make it happen. And you were guilted, you were shamed, you were told you weren't good enough. Who are you to go after something like that? A multitude of things happened to where you internalized it that you couldn't have that goal. And then you have the other aspect of you that harmonizes that. So you've got the law of polarity, and the law of polarity says everything is created as a whole. If you were looking at me right now while I was recording this, you would see my front side. But girlfriend, you know I got a backside, right? So it's created as a whole. For there to be up, there's down. Inside has outside. So the wounded part of you has its complementary counterpart, which is the wise you, your wise woman. This is the part of you that has gained lessons from all of your experiences. She knows how to tap in to your mission, vision, purpose, and path. She holds the seeds of your magnificence. But
The part of you that holds the wound is the part of you that gets triggered, not your wise woman, because those triggers haven't been upgraded. It's one of the reasons why I love utilizing hypnosis is we know you're going to get triggered, but we've got to change the meaning of the trigger. So it's not the wounded part of you that shows up. We need to release her from that contract. I use a 4-step process. Reveal the part of you in hypnosis that holds the agreement that you can't have what it is that you want. Then we release her from getting triggered. We relearn. That's the 3rd step. So when will she come out? I mean, she holds an incredible amount of joy and energy and childlike enthusiasm. That's when she's supposed to get triggered. So relearning for her, but also relearning when your wise woman is supposed to be triggered. It's those challenging situations when she's supposed to show up. And then the 4th R is rejoice. We bring the Trinity that's going to take you to the top, your wound, your wealth, and the gift of you in the present moment, all together as a team, increasing the impact that you make in the world, because it's going to be a better place because you're better in it. Okay, so your first story is you can't have it. And then what will you do? Well, it's known as symptom expression, and there are 4 ways for you to express the symptom that the younger you has been triggered, and you're living out the first story that you can't have it. This is when the wounded you starts to make things worse, just like the example I gave you with my client, creating a lot of drama. Okay, so there are 4 levels of symptom expression. 1, you will soothe yourself in a dysfunctional way. This is when people typically turn to outside substances. Maybe it's going to be food, sugar, sweets, caffeine, alcohol. It's going to be binging on social media or binging on any type of shows that don't improve the quality of your life. So what you're trying to do is soothe your system because you never learned how to soothe it from the inside. Okay, that's the first symptom expression out of the 4. The second one is you will distract yourself with a safe problem. Just like my client, there was a lot of drama. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. That actually helped her feel safe because it alleviated her from any responsibility on moving forward, because the younger her doesn't know how to move forward. If she did, she'd have what she wanted. So we have to take away the trigger that turns on that wounded story that she can't have it, and replace it with the wise woman that says, ooh, let's go for it. Okay. The 3rd symptom is, this is how I get attention. Look at me, look at me, look at me. And typically it's going to be, look at me, I've got all these problems, or look at me, I've learned to suppress and repress whatever I want, and I've taken on way too much. And then women wear the badge of honor that they're being a codependent and making life happen for everybody else, that they've sacrificed and martyred themselves. That was my personal favorite, just to let you know. And then the 4th symptom is that this is how we connect to other people, by having problems. We're afraid to move forward. I worked with one client that just would not let go of the weight. And when I hypnotized her and I asked her, powerful mind, to go back in time when she first decided she needed to be this weight level, it was a young teenager that came out and said, yeah, I can't be healthy. And then, because then mommy and sissy would be upset because they're fat. That absolutely amazed her. She had no idea that there was a part of her mind that felt like the relationship with her mom and her sister would be jeopardized if she were healthier than them. She still, as an adult, lived in the same neighborhood as them and was still living as that younger child. Okay. So the wounded you makes things worse because it was taught to live by somebody else's values of making life okay, but it was done so at the expense of you. And you are distracting yourself with symptoms instead of getting to the cause. And the cause is the story that you can't have it. We need to upgrade that story. We need to release the younger you from being triggered and replace it with your wise woman showing up going, I'm going to show everybody how to make this happen in a way that brings out our absolute brilliance. Because when you turn on your brilliance, you will ignite it in others, or they will have to leave your environment and stay dysfunctional all on their own because they won't be able to stand being near you because you have given your pain a purpose for progress. Okay, so I have a gift for you to help you with this because I reach and then I teach. I do not do therapy where, oh, yes, let's talk about this and you'll come up with your own conclusions. No, I am going to teach you a system where you take your power back over the people, places, and things that said you needed to be okay only when they were okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I can only do it as long as I've got time available. I want to give you a holiday gift where I'm going to teach you part of this system in our complimentary consult. So not only will you leave with, hey, I have a better guidance on whether or not I should be going forward with Dawn. You'll also leave with part of a system that you can use immediately for relief. You're not going to get resolution, but at least let's get you feeling better. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach out to me via text 1-636-699-7791. And in that text, I want you to put holiday consult. What I will do is I will reply with two things. One of them is going to be a link to my online calendar that will show up in your time zone, and you can pick a time that is going to be the best fit for you. But I'm going to go one step further because on that calendar, you may have to wait a few days before you get in to a time with me. So I will give you a time that isn't listed on the calendar. But in order to do that, you need to give me your time zone. If you don't give me your time zone, I cannot give you a very special time that I would have available within 24 to 48 hours, typically. Okay, so it is time for you to turn that wound into your wealth. Give your pain a purpose for progress. I'm here to gift you with the ability to get started on that success. 1-636-699-7791. Until we get together again, Merry Christmas.